Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everyone. This is your English teacher from At-Tamayuz Model School for Boys, and welcome back with a new lesson. In this video, inshallah, we are going to study Unit 9. Unit 9 is a totally different topic from the other topics that we studied before. Let me remind you of Unit 7, which was about fossil fuel or the of energy, alternatives of energy. Unit 8, we were talking about the power of technology, but in this unit, Unit 9, we are going to talk more about money. So let's get started with lesson 1 and 2. In this video, more specifically, you are going to learn about payment methods or ways of payment. If you are shopping, at the end of this process, you have to pay. So how can you pay? We have many methods, of course. Also, we have to study some new vocabulary of the lesson, and you have to know the qualities of a good bank manager. These are called qualities of a good bank manager. Before we start, let's talk about some important things. And the first thing is, what do you think people need money for? You have to tell me, why do we need money for? What are the reasons for having money? Of course, we have different answers. It depends from one to another. You need money for living. You need money to start a project. You need money to travel abroad. You need money to do many things. But we have to know that money isn't an aim, isn't a goal in itself, but it is a means. You have to understand that money is a means to achieve other goals. The other question, which is more important, if you want to pay for things, if you are shopping, and when you finish shopping, you have to pay for things, what ways? You can also say what methods. What ways do you think of doing that? Of course, when you have to pay, you have many ways. And the most common one is cash. You can pay in cash. You can pay in credit cards or by check. You write a check, you pay using a credit card, you pay in cash money. These are the most common ways. But in the past, of course, we had different things. We will know that later, inshallah. So before we start our lesson, let's watch a video about money. What do you need to know about money? And I'll be back in a minute.
Hello, today we're learning how to speak about money in English, and if you would like to get the PDF slides of this video, please click on the link above and download them on my website. So, money can be in cash, which includes banknotes or coins. You can pay by check or by debit or credit card, or use electronic money, which doesn't have a physical form. And a system of money in a particular country is called a national currency. For example, in the United States and some other countries it's a dollar, in the UK it's a pound, in the European Union it's euro, and there is also digital currency which is called Bitcoin, a type of electronic money. And you can exchange money or exchange currencies at a certain exchange rate. For example, the exchange rate of Bitcoin to Euro is 1,600 Euro per Bitcoin. So you can pay for something by credit or debit card, in cash or by check. And if you don't have enough money, you can buy on credit, and if the goods you bought are faulty, you can get a refund or be given a refund. For example, I paid for the room in cash. I paid for the TV set by credit card. I bought this car on credit. The laptop was faulty, so I gave it back and was given a refund. When you pay the seller more than the goods cost, the money they give back to you is called change. And you get the change together with a receipt, a document proving that you have paid. You can spend money on something, but if the expense was not necessary or wrong, it's a waste of money. So the word waste can be used both as a verb and as a noun. To ask about the price, the questions are: what is the price of something? How much does it cost? You can also use the adjective worth. For example, my flat is worth $200,000. And if you ask me why the letter K stands for the word thousand, from what I know, it originates from the Greek word kilo, which means 1,000. Talking about the price, something can be cheap or bought at a reasonable price, or be good value for money. Or the goods may be expensive, or you can say cost a fortune. For example, I bought this coat at quite a reasonable price. The car was good value for money, it cost only $5,000. This flight is way too expensive, I need to find another one. The house costs a fortune.
After watching the video about this thing, let's start studying the key vocabulary, the main vocabulary of this lesson before we read an article about the qualities of a good bank manager. The first word that we have today, please repeat after me: accounting. Accounting. It's from the verb count. We have accounting. Accounting. Repeat after me: accounting. Accounting is the action or the process of keeping financial accounts. The action or the process of keeping financial accounts. So if you want to work in a bank, for example, you have to study accounting. Next, we have the word confidentiality. Repeat after me: confidentiality. Confidentiality, when I say it's private, it's a secret, so this is confidentiality. Working in a bank, of course, needs or requires confidentiality. It means to keep private information, of bank accounts, of course, to keep them as a secret. So repeat after me again: confidentiality. The third word, economics. It's also like a science or a field of study which is related to trade, related to industry, related to management. So you have to study economics if you want to work in trade, if you want to work in a bank, and so on. So it is again economics. Next, insurance. Insurance. Repeat after me: insurance. Of course, when you pay a company a small amount of money to guarantee the loss of a property or to guarantee the damage, if you want to repair your car, of course, you have to pay insurance. You have to pay a small amount of money for a company to repair for your car or to repair for any loss that you have. This is called insurance. Next, invest. Invest. Repeat after me. This is the verb. Later we will know that noun. This verb is invest. When I say invest, I buy shares, I buy goods, I buy property, or anything that will increase in its value later so that I can make a profit. So when I buy a house today, hoping it will raise in amount later so that I make a profit. So this is called invest. If I have an amount of money and I want to increase that amount of money, so I invest. This process is called investment. The noun is investment. Investment is making a profit using an amount of money. So the sum of money invested to make a profit is investment. Next, loan. What is a loan? Repeat after me again. Loan. When I take or I borrow an amount of money from a bank, for example, this is a loan. So I take an amount of money from the bank and I will pay back again. This is called loan. The thing that is borrowed, especially money. Loan from the bank. Later, management. 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 The process of controlling things or controlling people around are called the management. So when we work in a company, in a school, and so on, we have management that controls people around or things around. This is called management. The last word that we have today that I told you, which is barter. You can pay by cash. You can pay using a credit card. You can pay using a check. But in the past, they used to barter. Barter. Repeat after me. Barter. It's when we exchange things. We exchange things. This is called barter. Repeat again. Accounting, confidentiality, economics, insurance, investment, loan, management, barter. Okay. The last word, transaction. Transaction. Repeat after me. Transaction. Transaction is the instance of buying and selling something. So when you buy or sell something, this is called transaction. When you pay using Knet, for example, this is transaction. When you draw money from the bank, this is called a transaction. Okay, so any process of buying or selling is called transaction. Okay. Finally, I'd like you to write down these words in Arabic. You have to memorize them. Be careful. They are very important. They will help you answer the translation question in the exam. Let's have some meaningful sentences about these words. So let's read together. The first one, time management is one of the essential skills to be successful. Controlling time, managing your time is called time management. He got a bank loan to start his new business. I cannot start a new business without money, so he got a bank loan. We invested too much money in the gold market. We invested too much money in the gold market. We are looking forward to expanding our investments in Turkey. We are looking forward to expanding our investments in Turkey. Long time ago, people used to barter for things they buy. They didn't pay money, they barter. You take something and I give you something in exchange. I would like to study accounting at Kuwait University. I would like to study accounting at Kuwait University. Banks do a lot of efforts to maintain the confidentiality of the clients. Everything is secret. So this is called confidentiality. Many factories provide insurance for their workers. Many factories provide insurance for their workers. The last one, my cousin studies politics and economics at Cairo University. My cousin studies politics and economics at Cairo University. These are the words that we have studied, but in meaningful sentences to help you understand their meanings. It's now time to open your student's book, page 68. Here we have an article, which is very important, about the qualities that would make you a good bank manager. Again, read this extract from Careers Prospectus written by a local bank manager. Here we have some qualities that would make anyone a good bank manager. Read carefully. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, it's a very important question. You can write it down after answering it. What are the qualities that would make someone a good bank manager? Who can tell me from reading this article, have you found these qualities? Okay, let's have a look at them first. Of course, any bank manager must have a university degree in business management. A university degree in business management. Of course, he has to be honest and trustworthy. Honest, he keeps the confidentiality of the clients. This is honesty. Next, he should have good communication skills. One of the qualities for a bank manager is that he has to have good communication skills, and finally, to respect confidentiality of the clients. These are the qualities of being a good bank manager. Write them down. They are very important. In page 69, we have, of course, we have studied or we have read the extract or the article. In page 68, we have to read it again to find a word that match these definitions. We have three definitions: A, university qualification; B, time that you spend working in addition to your normal working hours; and selfish desire. These are the definitions. Find only three words from the article that match these definitions. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, the first one. What is a university qualification? Have you found it? Yes, exactly. This is called degree. So when you have a university degree, this is your qualification. Degree in business, a degree in medicine, degree in English arts, and so on. Time that you spend working in addition to your normal working hours, this is called overtime. So if I have a job, but I need to work overtime after my working hours, I can work, or I can do overtime. The last one, what is a selfish desire? It means, yes, excellent, it's greed. Greed, I need everything for me, only me. This is called greed. Okay, so we have three definitions and three words. Next exercise, it's very important. Here you have to hear a talk, listen to a talk about the history of money. The history of money. As you listen, we have some questions to answer. As you listen, you have three questions, two answers. What are the questions? Who can read these questions? The first one, what did people barter with in the past? I told you before, barter means to exchange things instead of using money. So I can barter with animals, things that we make. The second question, when and where were the first coins made? Listen carefully to find the time and the place where the first coins made, and when and where were the first banknotes made. We have something called coins, we have something called banknotes, which is made of paper. Okay, so we have to listen carefully to find answers to these three questions.
Unit 9. 9.1 Page 69 Exercise 4
Today, money plays such an important part in our lives that it's hard to imagine the world without it. But there was a time when money didn't exist. Before the invention of money, people had to get food, clothes, and other items by bartering. In those days, the world's population was much smaller than it is today, so people didn't have to go very far to barter. For example, a farmer could take some of his corn and exchange for material to make clothes. The problem was that bartering only worked if both people wanted to barter at the same time. If the cloth maker didn't want any corn, then the farmer couldn't have any cloth. So something new began to happen. In most countries, there was often one thing that was valuable to everyone. This valuable thing was usually hard to find or very rare. People began to give this valuable thing in exchange for things they needed. Animals, shells, beads, leather, corn, and tobacco were some of the valuable things that people bartered with. In parts of Africa, cowrie shells were used as money until the middle of the 20th century. The earliest metal coins were made in Lydia, in modern-day Turkey, over 2,500 years ago. They were made of electrum, a natural mixture of gold and silver. From here, coins quickly spread to Greece, where they had used long iron nails as money, and to the rest of the world. Gold and silver were the most common metals for coins, but in some countries they used less valuable metal like copper. 1,200 years ago, a Chinese emperor started making paper money because of a shortage of copper for making coins. This paper money was the first form of banknotes. For the next few hundred years, some people continued to barter. For example, the Aztecs used cocoa beans and gold. In 1660, some British people started paying for things by cheque. From that time on, everyone knows the story. During the past 50 to 100 years, cheques and then credit cards became popular ways of paying for things. Currencies also changed. For example, fils and dinars were introduced in Kuwait in 1961. Now, early in the 21st century, most international transactions are made electronically. In our everyday lives, of course, we still use coins and notes. But how long will this continue?
Okay, after listening to this, we have also, as I said, we have 3 questions. We have to answer the 3 questions based on the listening that we have here. So let's find together the answers with each other. We have the word barter, as I said before. Barter means to exchange. So who can tell me, what did people barter with in the past? What did they exchange when they buy and sell? Have we found? Exactly, they had to barter: animals, shells, beads, leather, corn, and tobacco. Again, animals, shells, beads, leather, corn, and tobacco. The second question, when and where? I am asking about the time and the place where the first coins made. Exactly. The first coins were made in Lydia in Turkey. This is a city in Turkey when, yes, over 2,500 years ago. Over 2,500 years ago. C. When and where were the first banknotes made? These are banknotes which are made of paper. They were made in China 1,200 years ago or 1,200 years ago. 1,200 years ago. These are the most or the answers to the three questions. Here in exercise 5, you have to listen again and tell me, are these statements true or false? These listen to tell me if they are true or false. You can listen to the text again. You can use this video to listen again, okay, to answer these 3 or 4 questions. Yes. In parts of Africa, shells are still used as money. After hearing again the recording, did you find out the answer? Is it true or false? Parts in Africa still use money or still use shells as money? True or false? Of course, it's false. In parts of Africa, cowrie shells were used as money until the middle of the 20th century. Not still, okay? They were used until the middle of the 20th century. B. The first coins were made of silver. Is it true or false? Of course, this is not silver. Okay, the first coins were made of something called electrum, okay? C. Before they used coins, the Greeks are people who lived in Greece. The Greeks paid for things with long nails. These are long nails. Did they used to pay for things with long nails instead of coins or before using coins? That's true. They used coins the use of coins spread from Turkey to Greece, which had previously used iron nails as currency. The last question, that Chinese made paper money, which is banknotes, because they didn't have enough gold. This was the reason? Of course not. Of course, this is false. They made paper money because they didn't have enough copper. Copper it's like gold, it's like silver, it's like iron. This is called copper. Okay, so these are the 4 answers to the questions. This is the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for your time. Inshallah, see you in other videos. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.